in the military yourself. What was your preparation for going into the heavy-duty world of this film?
I've never been a soldier myself, but we practiced with the soldiers before deployment, so that was the kind of training that we had. That was partly to, obviously do research for how we would be able to shoot this film, but also to know, when they shout a certain command, it means run over and hide behind a building.
We can now open this up for questions. If you have one, just raise your hand and I'll, right over there.
So it looks like there were cameras on some of the soldiers when they were out on patrol, but did you also have cameramen out with them on patrol, or was it all just on their equipment?
No, it was the cinematographer, Lars Gray, and myself were filming on patrols. So we were basically embedded with the soldiers as the fighting was going on, and then four of the soldiers in the particular group we were following had helm cams on. Yeah. So that's how we were able to kind of cross-cut between the scenery. We did a lot of research before doing the film on how we'd be able to unfold action as it was happening, and found out that it was very important for us to be placed where the lines of communications were, because soldiers would talk to each other in specific ways, and that's actually the only way you have any chance to find out what's going on. So we were usually placed with various cameras in strategic places to be able to get that coverage.
Yeah, I just want to ask a question about the incredible intimacy you have in this film. Even in the final shots, you're filming a soldier in the shower and close-ups on motorcycles. How was that achieved? I mean, that's the kind of thing that we're expect to see in a fiction film, but in a documentary that it's a step beyond.
Well, I think when you work with people over time, they get a sense of understanding of what you're doing, and it becomes a performative act to make a documentary that happens between you as a director and the people in the film. So I think it's a question of trust and a question of time, and then people will start opening up. I usually find that with my films. I mean, we spent 3.5 months at the front line in Afghanistan doing this film, and we filmed the soldiers before deployment and after they came back. And I guess it's also about having some sort of vision with what you want, and then explaining that to people. Why would it be important for us to have a picture of you in the shower? And we're not doing a sort of soft sell or something, but obviously water and purification and the whole iconography of those types of images are important to kind of communicate to the people you're working with.
Can you talk about the political ramifications of this film? I remember when it had its premiere in the spring, and I know it's opened theatrically in Denmark, that it made a lot of waves. Can you talk about that?
Yes, the film premiered at Cannes, as Tom said before the screening, and after the premiere, the day after the premiere at Cannes, it had a press screening in Denmark in the biggest theatre in Copenhagen, where virtually every politician and every journalist that could be sort of gathered together watched the film, and there was a huge political debate, a huge debate in the media, and a lot of headlines and a lot of sort of heat. I think what the film did, it came out at the right time. There was also, NATO come out saying that the mission in Afghanistan is not as easy as we initially thought it would be, and it's really sparked another kind of debate where before Armadillo there was just this public image of soldiers almost being aid workers going to build schools and wells, and not really there wasn't a clear understanding of the kind of brutality that the war in Afghanistan actually has. And that was a curtain fall, at least in Denmark, to see this type of imagery, and it was certainly some sort of fall from grace, almost in an international sense. So it shocked people.
We take some questions right here.
Given what you were just talking about, I'm wondering, have you been in touch with the soldiers that you followed, in the last few months? What was their reaction to the film and the controversy that followed?
Yeah, I am in touch with most of the soldiers. It was a very tough process when we had to finish this film and show it to the people participating in it, because obviously it's a very vulnerable film to them in a lot of ways. And there's been an investigation into this incident in the ditch, whether what happened was according to the rules of engagement or whether they actually liquidated these guys. That investigation is still going on. And to the people that were central to this incident, they were obviously not very pleased with me talking about this at all, or at least, having that the film represents that there was any doubt of what was happening in that situation. So that's one side of it. The others are actually, for the most part, quite happy about the film. They say, well, this is a true image of what we went through in Afghanistan, and it doesn't, it doesn't put up this blurry image of the political correct sort of rhetorics about that place and the kind of things that have, at least in Europe, I'm not that familiar with the debate over here, but at least in Europe, in particular in Denmark, has been very dominant. So they themselves have been fed up with that and saying, well, okay, here's a film that actually portrays things how they really are.